Scioto County and Adams County in Ohio. There's a look at the warning right now. This is in effect until 8:30 this morning, and in effect for southeastern Adams County and western central Scioto County until 8:30 this morning. It is a radar-indicated tornado, so it has not been sighted, but we have a squall line that's approaching the Scioto Valley. So widespread storms, but within that line, we are seeing possible tornado impact. And so some locations impacted include Portsmouth, Rosemount, Lucasville, Rome, Blue Creek, Otway, Lumbertsville, Friendship, McDermott, West Portsmouth, Walmsley, and Turkey Creek Lake. You want to get take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room in the lowest level of your building. You want to get away from windows. If you're outdoors in a mobile home, you want to find the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. We'll switch over here to the radar scope, and there's a look at that line of squalls as it's approaching right now. And we can put a storm track on this. Nick, you've been kind of taking a look at this. I'm joined here by Nick Patrick, and he's been kind of getting a look at how this has been kind of evolving.
Yes, and it looks like, Doug, here, this some tornadic activity popping up on the radar, at least indicated, and that's why I think they actually introduced this. But it looks like not only the tornado, we have some hail probability over 80%.
Yeah.
And it is moving pretty quickly towards the northeast once again. So some of the impacted counties, as you mentioned, in some of the towns, we have Concord, Niles, West Portsmouth, and Portsmouth all here in the next about 15 minutes. So anybody in the path of this storm, as Doug said, definitely want to take cover right now as it's heading your way. And this is an area that's been hit over and over this morning, and flash flooding is also going to be an issue coming up once this squall line passes you. So a lot of things to at least be aware of this morning with the severe weather system coming
Exactly.
through.
Yeah, and what you're looking at right here, the red and the green, that's radar velocity. So that's the wind blowing toward the radar and away from the radar. And so you look for contrasts and rotation. You can see that in the radar scope. So that's what the National Weather Service folks are seeing, is rotation in the radar presentation here, and that indicates a possible tornadic signature. Kind of another view of that right now is this is the wind shear. And so this is showing kind of a line of strong winds within that system and possible rotating winds. So it would appear right now like that might be in the vicinity of Tulip over there in Squirreltown, and Sunshine over eastern Adams County, right near 125. And again, that is tracking east and is going to be crossing into western Scioto County here in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So that's what we're watching out for here, with the possibility for a tornadic signature. Also, a lot of hail, which is very common with tornadic producing cells. And it looks like some very large hail crossing from Manchester into Concord right there along Route 52. And so that's going to be passing very near and north of Vanceburg as well with that cell as it continues to track its way on off to the east. So there it is right now. That is the cell, and kind of seeing maybe perhaps a little bit of a notch signature. But we've had a couple tornado warnings this morning, both in our area and off to the west over towards Cincinnati. And what we're dealing with right now is a squall line. We have very strong rotating winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere and the mid levels of the atmosphere. And so as this line of storms comes in, it can sometimes tap into that, at least briefly. Now, this is not a sustained kind of event. So, you know, for 5 or 10 minutes, you can get a tornadic signature and then it might disappear. But at least for right now, the possibility is there. And you notice how this signature, the radar signature, see how it's bowing out? I can kind of illustrate that with a little bit of a drawing there. It's bowing out there like a bow. That's the wind pushing in. So that indicates some strong winds, at least on the order of about 50 to 60 miles an hour with that line as it now crosses its way into Scioto County here from the west. So again, that warning in effect for these communities here. There it is. There's the tornado warning into parts of Scioto County here. And I'll take off the labels there, and then you can see some of these communities we can go through here. Niles, there's 125 up through West Portsmouth. Portsmouth right on the edge there. Rosemount, Rush, Lumbertsville, Henley, Arion, Otway is kind of on the northern extent. Okay, they just updated this. They've now taken Adams County out of the warning. So that's, again, this shows you how fast these things are moving. They've been having to update these every 5 or 10 minutes because these are moving so fast. So here's the updated message here, just coming in from the National Weather Service. And a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 11 miles west of Rosemount. So we can zoom in here on Rosemount again. So
I think that's a good indication there, Doug. This is just radar indicated. There hasn't been a tornado spotted.
Yes, exactly. Radar indicated. It's still radar indicated. But you still want to treat it as though there could be a tornado within this cell. And even if it's not a tornado, you're talking about 50 or 60 miles an hour worth of wind coming through the Scioto Valley right now. So this is a very strong cell making its way through the Scioto Valley, tracking to the east. And again, we can kind of look at that line of wind here with the velocity signature. I'll widen out the view here. And you're seeing some of the various colors. I'm going to switch over to a different radar scope out of Wilmington using their radar. And there you can see that there's that wind structure right there, inbound and outbound winds. And actually, I'll switch over to Charleston and maybe get a different perspective here.
Yeah, you see that purple start to pop up there too, Doug, right there near Otway.
Yes.
And towards, right now, still northwest there of Portsmouth, but it's right here. And it's right along that line of showers and thunderstorms really starting to push. This is almost going straight eastward as well. So anybody in this line, Rosemont again, you're looking at this. There's a look at that cell, that bow effect that we've been talking about, the winds gusting towards the east. And really that's why that's what prompted this possibility of a tornado and a tornado warning. So again, take cover now. Don't go outside with this system, please. You definitely want to stay away from those windows and take shelter here. I know there's some temptation to see a tornado, to see something like this happen, but please definitely don't want to take that risk of injuring yourself. And you can see how quickly this rain has been moving across. The tornado warning has been extended 8:30 now. It was 8:15 when we started off. Right along this area that was a flash flood warning as well in effect. So we have right now the immediate impact of that tornado and then the floods and severe thunderstorm activity building along this as well. And this isn't the only place, of course, seeing some of that rain. When we take a wider look, this area near Vanceburg coming in, and there's a strong cell rotating here as well to the south, west of Vanceburg. And Doug's tracking that, putting out the indication.
Yeah, here's
now.
some of the estimated arrival times for these communities. Not necessarily a tornado risk, but certainly strong winds here pushing its way east. So this is coming into Portsmouth, basically right now. Athens by 9 o'clock. Huntington a little bit after 9, the way things look right now. Parkersburg by 9:30, and Charleston 9:30 to 10. It should be coming across the Kanawha Valley. It will hold together enough to be, certainly a pretty nasty squall line, especially for this early in the morning. We're used to seeing these in the afternoon, but this early in the morning is definitely unusual. So this will push to the east. There'll be some very strong winds, some very heavy rain, possibly some hail with that, and some frequent lightning. And then behind it, kind of just a general area of moderate rain that will persist here for a while up through about lunchtime. But again, expect a strong amount of wind coming through these communities here roughly around these times. So between now and about 10 o'clock this morning, I think from Charleston west, we're going to have some bumpy weather to get through. We missed the first round of storms here in Huntington and Charleston. They stayed on up to the north. But now it looks like everybody's going to be getting this line. This is a very widespread squall line there. You can see it, kind of give you a wider perspective here on the satellite and radar. And there it is. You can see how it's detaching itself here and really making rapid progress down to the south and to the east. Again, very unusual to see this here this early in the morning, especially in winter. But what's happening is we have a lot of wind energy driving these storms. So any storms that get going in this kind of environment where you have really strong southwesterly winds, and in the higher levels of the atmosphere, those winds turn a little bit more into the southeast. So you can get some rotation into some of these cells here for this time of year. Once you get into the summer months, you don't have generally as much rotation potential, although you have a lot more instability, you have a lot more humidity. We don't have that, fortunately, this time around, but we do have just enough that we've been able to sustain this line of squalls here across the area. So that tornado warning remaining in effect. We're going to stay on the air until that tornado warning has been expired. So you can see it continuing across Scioto County here. And we'll zoom in here on those communities. So there's the Ohio River, and there's Route 52. So Route 52 is under that warning here once you get around Portsmouth. And just down, let's see, right at the junction of about 125. So at the junction of 125 and Route 52 is where that tornado warning is in effect, and extends up to about Otway. You're kind of on the northern border of this warning, and that goes until about 8:30 this morning.
And we're starting to see, Doug, here, I've got the cross section up, 40,000 feet with some of these cloud tops and pushing 50,000. And I think that's kind of what prompted some of these warnings to pop up there, certainly. As
Yeah,
well.
what you're looking at, Nick, is on another computer. We can switch over to what he's looking at here, and this is the three-dimensional tool that we have. And yes, can kind of splice this storm here. I'm going to just pull this down. You can see this. There it is right there. And yeah, that's going up. Okay, so there you've got 40,000 feet. I'll step in front of the camera here, and you can see this very intense line of storms. The storms that have been coming through this morning, and they've been hefty. You know, they were topping out about 30,000, 25, 30,000 feet, which early in the morning like this is unusual. You see that in the afternoon, not so much in the morning. This one actually extends almost up to about 40,000 feet. So that's a pretty impressive sail for this time of day and this time of year. And again, that is advancing towards the downtown Portsmouth area here through Scioto County. And we have that tornado warning in effect for Scioto County here until 8:30 this morning.
Yeah, this is going to be an ongoing thing, looks like. Oh, they might have just dropped it there, Doug.
Oh, okay. All right. Does look like, yes, it did expire.
The tornado warning has been dropped.
Okay, well, and that's what we're talking about with these pulse storms. So this may happen again this morning, and if it does, we will break in and continue to keep you updated. And again, just because the tornado warning has expired, that line of storms is still stout, and all the warnings there through southern Ohio, northern Kentucky, that's headed east. So Huntington, I think it arrives by about 9 o'clock this morning, 9:30. Charleston, 9:30, 10. So get ready for a bumpy amount of weather coming through here this morning, and maybe another round of some scattered storms, potentially severe this afternoon too. So it's going to be a very active day ahead. We have a long day ahead, and we'll continue to keep you updated. Right now, we want to get you back to Good Morning America.
We have a
Together, when you're by my side, you know I feel alright, 'cause we belong together. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. We belong together.
For lower back pain sufferers, the search for relief often leads here, here, or here. Today, there's another option, drug-free Aleve Direct Therapy.
Okay, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, no issues, no issues. Huh, this is funny. Okay. Anything. Okay, any issues, no issues. Okay.
Good morning, guys. This is Allison Scott out here in the traffic tracker. I'm in Mason County in Point Pleasant, just off Route 2. We have our camera facing west into Ohio. The wind is definitely picking up here now. The storm that already came through, much of that standing water is receding, and we are told that not much damage except for, that standing water has been around. We are out here. We're just going to be out here kind of looking for some more damage, and I'm thinking we're going to see some more debris and things kind of flying around here as this wind keeps picking up. And we'll be out here and stay with Eyewitness News throughout the morning because we are going to be following this storm.
All right, thank you very much, Allison. And we are dealing with a squall line that is approaching from the west right now. In fact, we just had a tornado warning that was in effect for western part of Scioto County, which was dropped. But we'll have to be on the lookout because this signature, these storms can all of a sudden briefly get some rotation very quickly. And so you can have these very quick issued tornado warnings.
Yes.
Right now, it's severe thunderstorm warnings. All the counties in orange are severe thunderstorm warnings. Basically, all of southeastern Ohio is under one. And I'll tell you what, most of us are probably going to end up under one as this makes its way through. So, this is going to be an evolving situation. These orange boxes will likely get expanded eastward here throughout the morning. But for right now, this is where they are. And again, Huntington, I'm sure you're in the crosshairs because this is a solid line of squalls and storms. A lot of lightning with this too. In fact, we can overlay the lightning tracker there. You can see the lightning all along that line, but it's a pretty unbroken line right now, making its way to the east. So we can track this and put a timer on it. It's moving to the east at about 65 miles an hour. So that brings it into Athens and Huntington around 9:15 this morning, maybe 9:30. And I'd say Charleston, 9:30 to about 10 o'clock, it will arrive here from the west. It'll probably last for only, at least the worst of it, about 10 or 15 minutes. Quick burst of wind, thunder, lightning, and then just moderate rain after that, after the worst of it blows through. And it looks like it'll arrive in Logan around 10:15 and Beckley by about 11 o'clock this morning. So this is moving really fast to go from Portsmouth to Beckley in just about 2 hours. This is looking at the radar scope right now, the radar velocity. And you could see right where that rush of wind is. What you're seeing is a wind shift in direction away from the radar, right where that red and green are. They're kind of bunched up together, so the possible rotation of the wind there, and some strong winds too. Now, I'm not seeing real bright greens, which is good. I'm seeing a little bit more of that actually perhaps up around Benton County. That's some stronger winds in the radar scope. But still, this is a very solid squall line and goes down to the south. You can see the red and green kind of co-join there.